Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today I'm going to try to explain what is happening with Bitcoin. Why did we drop again from 50,000 plus to where we are around $47,000? I know there's a lot of panic, a lot of doubt, uncertainty, a lot of FUD out there, and I'm going to try to address all of them with today's stream. So, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams almost every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, articles, and guides on CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys are hanging in there. It's always a good day. Just depends on how you look at things. I know many is not thrilled about this movement right here from our 50-something thousand down to where we are again below this 47.8, and we're like right pressed against it, right? And if you zoom out a little bit, you'll realize, yeah, this is the recurring theme for Bitcoin. It's no worse than, 2 days ago. So, first of all, I've been saying this even when we did rally up to 50,000 recently. Like, overall, Bitcoin is still going sideways, okay? There's no doubt about it. It's still going sideways. It's not any worse than it was 2 days ago or 5 days ago or even over here earlier a week ago, okay? So, keep things in perspective. It is still at the same point. We're basically moving sideways at this point. And when it comes to Bitcoin, sometimes that's just what happens. Sometimes Bitcoin just stalls and it gets stuck and it just does its thing and consolidates while things are going on. And there are things going on this morning. A lot of external things that's causing people to have fear and uncertainty and doubt, right? So let me talk about what they are. First of all, if you look at the equities market, well, it's down about 311, which isn't the worst thing. NASDAQ is down a little bit more at 1.5. But why is this? Well, there's a couple reasons. One, UK confirms its first death with the Omicron variant. So the Omicron variant scare is still ongoing. Even though it's been deemed by many that it's a mild variant, but it spreads very fast, extremely fast. So actually, I've been hearing, I don't know if this is how true this is, but I've been hearing that the Omicron variant is actually a really good way for everyone to get immunity because it spreads really fast. People get it and they heal because it's very mild, and then you get somewhat of immunity without having booster shots. That's what I hear. I don't know if that's exactly 100% true, but this is causing some down pressure, okay? What's also causing some down pressure, and I think what's really holding the market back right now in terms of equities market and crypto market, is this one right here. Worst inflation call in the history of the Fed, but people are waiting to see what the Fed does. And that's coming starting from tomorrow. Tuesday and Wednesday, there's going to be another monetary policy meeting, and people are waiting to see what gets announced because Powell is aware of the inflation starting to get out of control, 6.8%. It's probably will go up to 7s, and that's no good. So people are expecting, at least half the people are expecting that Powell does either raise rates, which short-term wise is not good, or he's going to announce he's going to raise rates in January or sometime soon in 2022, earlier than expected. So that's what a lot of people are expecting, and they're expecting when that happens, well, usually the fund managers and everyone else start changing their strategy, going from high growth tech stocks into risk off stocks like consumer goods and stuff of that nature, right? So there's that. I think this is the main thing. People are just waiting to see what happens. Last night I had a stream, a heart-to-heart stream, although it was just by myself to you guys. But I think people are just waiting. They're afraid to make moves, which is why Bitcoin is basically where it is. The bulls are afraid because there's doubt in bulls' minds whether or not we will continue forward. At least some bulls, not all. But there's a lot of bulls out there that's afraid of getting in and DCAing because they want to see a move first. They want to see a move back to 58 or 60,000, right? And even the bears, I think, are doing the same thing. They're afraid to short Bitcoin because we can have that massive rally up. So they're waiting for confirmation too, whether or not Bitcoin falls to 42 or 41 before they put their short positions, right? So it's like everyone is waiting right now, waiting and waiting and waiting. And that is why Bitcoin is going sideways. Fear level is doing the same thing. Fear is bouncing between like the 20s and teens, right? And you could see that this is, I'll just show you guys. This is what it looks like right now. And of course, we've seen periods like that before. When Bitcoin fell to 40,000, we held there for a couple weeks. And of course, let me remind you guys of 30,000, where we held there for months, 2 months to be exact, right? So this is nothing new that we haven't seen before. We have seen this before. But what happened after these times? Well, 30 went to 60, right? And then 40 went to 60. So we are looking like we're right at that point. It's just that a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines. And not to say that that's bad, but, mostly what I've been telling you guys over the last 3 or 4 months, right? DCA, HODL, and not panic, right? So those are a message I'll continue to say and re-stress over and over again. And last night, I did share with you guys, like I said, a heart-to-heart, and why I really believe that the Bitcoin bull run will continue, right? The two things, there's 2 or 3 things that I mentioned about why I believe Bitcoin will continue on. And it all has to deal with fundamentals, okay? The fundamentals of Bitcoin continues to get stronger. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people think fundamentals comes to charts. And you're looking at charts, and there's a million different ways you can skin the cat when it comes to charts. And many of them will look bearish. Many of them you can skin to look positive, right? But the one true thing is the fundamental of Bitcoin has nothing to do with charts. So let me talk about some of those things right now. All right, number one. First of all, Bitcoin just hit a new milestone of 90% total supply mined. Keep this in mind because this is very significant. Bitcoin is scarce. There's going to be 21 million. And the last 0.1% of Bitcoin is going to be mined in 100 years. That's how it's set, that 0.1. So we could get to like 99% before basically mining comes to almost a halt and it becomes nearly impossible to get the last few Bitcoins. But up until then, the Bitcoin hash rate has been going up, and the miners are fighting tooth and nail for every single Bitcoin because of this, because 90% of the total supply is gone. There will not be that many coming forward. All the new ones right now, honestly, you can argue that they're not hitting the markets because the miners are keeping them. All the freshly new Bitcoins with no transactions, they're all being held by the miners, and they have said so themselves. Their quarterly reports, they keep saying they hold everything. They're not dumping anything at all, right? So this plays hugely in Bitcoin's future because there's just not that many to go around. Every single halving event, the next one in 2024, which is only 3 years. It's actually less than 3 years. It's 2.5 years. It seems like we just gone through a halving event, but the next one is 2.5 years. The amount of Bitcoins being released will be cut from 900 to 450. And it's going to keep getting cut and cut and cut. And with these miners and institutions and countries and literally every single person that knows about inflation and knows about Bitcoin's price appreciation, and how to store value, is holding as much as they can right now, right? And this is a big thing. It comes down to as simple as supply and demand. And demand is increasing and supply is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, which is why you see the reserves on the exchanges keeps dropping. You may not think that this makes any sense, but that's exactly what's happening. All the Bitcoins out there is being bought It's being taken out of the exchanges and being held in long-term cold storage wallets, right? So short-term volatility right now means nothing to me because all these fundamentals, the metrics and indicators that show that buying is still ongoing. It's not the opposite. If these metrics showed me that the whales are actually dumping Bitcoin, like what happened in February when F2 Pool was dumping Bitcoin onto the market, and you could clearly see it. You can't hide those things. But if the metrics are showing me that, well, it's a different story. But it's not. The whales and whoever that is buying, they continue to buy. They're not dumping anything, right? Here's another one from Willy Woo that shows the buy and sell heat map. And this also measures whether or not holders are panic dumping or they're panic buying or in between. They're either buying or selling. And take a look at the very right-hand side. Even though Bitcoin did dump down to 42 and 47, where we are right now, you could see there's not any reds there, right? In fact, it's all blue, which means that people are still stacking up right now rather than selling. So this is, I mean, these are kind of metrics I show you guys, right? Because it shows you that people are still taking advantage of the dip and believe that this is not the end for Bitcoin, as many will lead you to think. Okay, even look at when Bitcoin hit 30,000, and that's the very bottom over there. You could see that there was still red. Even at that point, there was people selling. They were fearful. When Bitcoin hit 40,000, you could see there's a little bit of selling. But right now, very, very little selling going on. Something else that also shows that buying is commencing. Well, this is OTC desk balance. Okay, this is a new metric. Never heard of this before. I showed it once recently, but this shows you the balance of Bitcoin with the OTC desk, and this is where the big boys are really buying and selling, right? And every time the reserves drop really, really low, which means that there are still massive buying going on. Well, every time it drops really low, guess what happens to the price? It usually recovers and comes up. And that happens to be right around now, right? So these are things that I pay attention to, right? I know external factors like Omicron is definitely a thing that will probably carry into 2022. What the Feds do in terms of inflation, well, that is also have consequences, and a lot of traders and funds, they're going to make their decisions based on that, right? But think about it. Inflation only helps Bitcoin. It's the hardest asset on the planet. People are turning to assets, hard assets, to hedge against inflation as a store of value, as more and more money is being given out. And as our buying power is being diluted each and every day, and more so every year, well, you have to put your money into something that preserves your wealth, and that is Bitcoin. So even though inflation is going to be a bigger issue going forward, it's still going to help Bitcoin in the long run. Again, something that's part of fundamentals, right? So this is why I remain bullish on Bitcoin. Many others may not have the same faith, okay? The same conviction. And you know what? That's just because I've lived through too many of these. I've lived through and learned my lessons over the years, gone through so many, and I've even sat through much worse dumps than this, much worse corrections for much longer periods. And every single time, I thought before that I would outsmart the market by making moves that would have helped me, right? They ended up wrong. The one move that would have made me the most money throughout all those dips and declines is simply by making no moves at all and just holding, right? And that is something I've learned before. Many of you guys will not believe that. Many of you believe that you could time top or bottom and you think that you could outsmart the market. Trust me, I've received so many feedback comments from people that have told me that, George, hey, I've traded And you know what? Had I not done anything, I would have been up a lot more substantially. That's the name of the game. Patient, holding, and if you could take advantage, DCA, but that requires you to have money on the side, and that's an important lesson that I'll keep re-emphasizing as Bitcoin in the market recovers. But we will get through this, guys. We will get through it. It's not as bad as you think, and Bitcoin will thrive and continue forward. Okay, so I just want to lead off with that. Hopefully helps calm some of you guys. Fang gave me a couple of big super chats, one by mistake, but it's okay. I appreciate it. I was trying to say, unless the world implodes, there's no way that crypto is not the future. Change hurts, growing pains. Here's an extra $50. I thank you. I believe that. Right now, what's happening is there's a paradigm shift from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. And I consider Bitcoin part of that, right? The shift to decentralization, to owning your own property and digital rights, right? And not having a centralized body control and dictate what's going to happen. That's the new shift that's moving towards to, right? And that is the future. There's no way that is not the future. So yes, you are right 100%. Raf says, I know you say supply is depleting, but aren't you forgetting to consider future mine coins? Those are not being sold. If the supply is going down, why is the price going up? Then why isn't price going up? Because there are future mine coins that will be coming out, but they're being held. So they're not being sold. Everything that you see on CMC or anywhere else, any price list, this is based on the order books on the exchanges. Anything off the order books does not affect this price. You could have $1 billion worth of sales from one person to another that's being done at $100,000, and it would not affect this price by 1 penny at all, because this only measures what's going on the exchanges within their order books, and the OTC market is very different. That is why when Michael Saylor or whoever buys $100 million or $600 million of Bitcoin, why do you think Bitcoin does not pump because of it? It's because they do it through OTC market and they purposely do not want to pump the market. That's the difference between a long-term holder and a whale that's trying to manipulate you. Long-term holders, especially these big guys, they're buying, they want to buy low. They don't want to buy and cause the price to go up. But the whales that are affecting the market, they're trying to make you panic sell because they have their buy order set or their short set. So they make money by doing that. But that's why the price doesn't always move the same way that you think it does. These guys are not stupid. Okay, they got to where they are because of what they know, and sometimes it's not right, but that's why. All right, Arthur, I don't know what you're talking about. Thoughts on Power Ledger? My thoughts have not changed. And what's up with my sources? My sources, 60% of the time, my sources is right every time. So keep that in mind. All right, there's other things I want to get through. I got distracted. Okay, other things I want to get through. If you cared about TA, well, here's a couple of TA from Tech Dev. So here's one that shows you what happened exactly. This is going back when Bitcoin was still around 10,000. Right around there, because Bitcoin had a very, very hard time breaking through 10,000. Just like it had a hard time breaking through many different levels, right? But at one point in time, it may be laughable, but Bitcoin had a hard time breaking above 10,000. And this is what it looks like. And according to TechDev, this is what we look like now. So it's a very similar pattern. Right? It seems like we're having a hard time breaking through that 68,000, right? But if we do, guess what may come afterwards? This crazy run right here. I know you guys can't see my cursor, but I'm trying to circle through that big run from 10,000 on to over $40,000. So that could still be coming in 2022. Probably not in 2021, but I'm not giving up hope in 2021. We still have 2 full weeks left. Not giving up on December, but still. And here's another one, the 50-week SMA. This is an important mark a lot of people are looking at, the 50 SMA, right? And Bitcoin is bouncing right there. That actually happens to be what this is, right? So if you look at it, well, there's also similarities between what's going on right now versus before, when Bitcoin was stuck around 10,000 plus, and then you see this massive movement upward. So there you go. There's some bullish TA for you guys. Also, something else, I just got done talking about Web 3.0 and how it's the future. Well, I'm not the only one that thinks so. So there's a new UAE fund that is 243 billion, so a quarter of a trillion. I don't know if you guys realize how big that is. That's a quarter of $1 trillion that is going to invest in crypto, more specifically Web 3.0. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Web 3.0 is the future. Bitcoin is part of it. And there is no way in hell that crypto and Bitcoin won't continue forward despite the price volatility, despite the price action, right? It will move forward. Here, take a look. Bank of England. I didn't even know Bank of England had official Twitter, but they do. And look at this, the Financial Stability Report. One of the 4 main things that they're talking about is crypto assets. So it kind of shows you how crypto is part of everyone's future and everyone is paying attention, right? Out of all the things that they could have put on this report, one of the most crucial ones they want to talk about is crypto assets. Again, Web 3.0, part of the future, and even Bank of England is proving that point. All right. Now, besides that, just a few other little things I want to talk about. Ascendex, which is a smaller exchange. I've never heard of it or used it. They got hacked for $77 million. Small amount on the grand scheme of things, and they said they have enough in their insurance policy or whatever. They will cover it, but kind of shows you, sometimes you just have to be careful about the exchanges that you use. You just don't know what may happen. There's always a insider job or a vulnerability or some kind of smart contract, thing that gets found, right? So just be careful. Be careful where you put your crypto on, and if you can, store it in a hardware wallet or a mobile wallet that's off the exchange so that you control it. But even if you do that, you got to be careful, right? You have to be careful and safeguard and have precautions in place. All right. Also, speaking of hacking, Solana just suffered another DDoS attack and they recovered. But there is some claim now that Solana, the way they do proof of history, which allows them to scale, there's some concerns about that because it's a mechanism that is not widely used in a lot of other crypto projects. And it may be a flaw that hackers can try to hack. I don't understand this. This is too technical for me, but I will do more research into it. But this is from Grayscale too. This is not from some small company. So this is Grayscale that's reporting that. But however, with that said, they are recovered. It wasn't nearly as long as last time, like 17 hours, right? So we will see. This will still happen. But as far as I know, no money lost, nothing like that. Just that the network suffered a little slowness during the time. And you know what? Not everyone has the same sentiment as Grayscale. Because Kraken still believes that Solana is primed for a 260% rally by January. Interesting. So I still believe in Solana. I think they're a fantastic project, early stage, right? Had a tremendous move this year. And I do think there's going to be more moves for Solana. Also, Gala Games, which has been on fire, absolutely on fire recently, they now have a new $100 million fund to invest in blockchain gaming. So Gala is on fire. They have gone up so much recently, but still, they're still small, about half the market cap of Decentraland and Sandbox and others. So I still think they're a fantastic project. They're definitely gaining more steam and gaining more momentum at this point. Last two things. Robinhood is partnering up Chainalysis as they get ready for their crypto wallet launch, which many people are really anticipating, right? Still have not added Shiba, though. I don't know why they haven't, but I think they will, and it could align with this wallet launch. And then lastly, Elon, however you want to call him. Some of you guys may not get that Elon joke, but it's okay. But he's Times Person 2021 Person of the Year, and he talks about crypto in here, and he still continues to back Doge. But he does say Bitcoin. I get his reason. He basically explained that Bitcoin is much better suited for store value. It's not a transitory or transactional currency, not transitory, transactional currency, because it's an underlying crypto that basically goes up in value. So why would anyone want to spend it, right? But he was saying that it was too slow. So something like Doge, which has some inflation built in, right, is much better suited for that. But I disagree. It's not going to be Doge. It's going to be some kind of, I think it's going to be some kind of CBDC, honestly, in terms of replacing the dollar or anything or fiat. But that's okay. We still have Bitcoin because that will always be there. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. 9,000 people tuning in. Hopefully, you guys are staying calm, staying collected, staying cool. I saw someone in the comments saying, George, how could you say this is not on a downtrend, it's going sideways? Well, is it going down? We had this, yes, but since December 4th to now, we've been going sideways, okay? We're still hugging this line. We're going sideways. We have not gone down to a lower level that we haven't seen. And again, if you are truly panicking and you do believe that this is the end, well, I'd like to remind you guys some of the previous dips that we had. And some of them are very, very significant, just as significant as this one now. And some of them have lasted much longer. And what happened every single time? Well, Bitcoin recovered. And if this doesn't do anything for you for 2021, well, then just zoom out a little bit. All right. And then realize that, yeah, we were in much worse positions. Okay. And it wasn't that long ago. And had you panic sold, or believed in the FUD, or lost faith in Bitcoin, well, you lost out on a tremendous amount of gains. I sat through this, guys. I sat through this. I sat through many of these, made so many mistakes in the past, but I'm giving you guys my experience, my wisdom. And the biggest mistake I made during this time right here is simply not holding more and buying more on the dip and continuing to have faith that Bitcoin and crypto will thrive and continue forward. That's the best thing I got to tell you guys. The best thing. All right, now let's do some Q&A. I missed a big super chat, by the way. Hold on here. MS says, look at FAG token. It's not a meme coin. It's the same argument like you could look at SHIB, it's not a meme coin. It started as one, and I know that they have expanded beyond that, but it's just not my cup of tea. I'm not going to be interested in it no matter what they do at this point. Because I'm more focused on L1s, network protocols, that have a lot of use cases, a lot of users, a lot of network traction, right? And that's what I want to focus on more rather than something that started out as a meme and now is trying not to be a meme. All right. What else is there? ICS discover as XRP will be delisted from another Canadian exchange. Any word on that? Basically, right now, XRP is toxic, okay? You can make the argument that XRP will come back, and I think it will. But right now, it's toxic because this lawsuit with Ripple and the SEC is not going to go away anytime soon. And in the meantime, you know, XRP is just not moving, right? It's being suppressed because of it. And with all these exchange listings, it's not helping its case, not one bit, right? So until that settlement is here, you're not going to see XRP moving. That's just my honest opinion. And that lawsuit may last another year, full year. When they were sued, I told people, get out of XRP because that lawsuit's going to last probably 2 to 3 years. It's not going to be a quick, like 2 months, 6 months thing that people thought or hoped for, because all the other lawsuits took just as long, 2 to 3 years. And Ripple's even more complicated than that. So until that lawsuit is over, you're not going to see any movement from them. Power Ledger small cap has infrastructure value behind it. It's moving to Solana, already listed on Coinbase. Power Ledger is a project I'm very familiar with. It was out in 2017-18. They're in energy trading and green energy, right? It's just not something that's very sexy and people care about. Honestly, it's a really good concept. I know they built out green energy grids across places that need it, which is great. But their main concept is to have users democratize energy and be able to trade it. And that just will not happen in many jurisdictions, including the US. So I don't know, if it'll ever be the project that people want it to be. Alan asks, how would you adjust the 50-25-25 rule for more intermediate investors that have watched it for a long time? So if you're more like an amateur, right, not a newbie, well, you could adjust it so that the big cap is bigger. Okay, I think that is the most logical thing to do. So if you really understand like Ethereum and Solana and Cardano and Terra, right, then you could go heavier into it, right? So you could adjust the Bitcoin portion down 40-30% and have more in big caps. So I think that's the best way to do it. And in terms of your small caps, you could have some more in there, right? Maybe take a little bit more risk in some of these smaller plays, but you still can't go too heavy into it because on down days like today, you will get absolutely murdered, right? Mr. McSnuffy, Pavia airdrop token for landowners on the 17th. Thank you. Pavia is interesting. You can't buy the tokens you're getting airdrop, but you can only get airdropped if you buy land. And it happens to be, a promising project on Cardano. One of the ones I've been paying attention to. So could be worth it. But they're still very early, though. Still very early. Favorite L1 out of top 10. I'm clinging on to Cadena. I think Cadena still has huge potential. They're outside top 10, outside top 20. So I still hold on to them, but they're not the only ones. Harmony, Phantom, they're both doing very well, and I like them as well. And even Elron is another one. VeChain is another one. I mean, there's a lot out there. Polygon news, what do you see? I covered Polygon so much in the past. Very, very, very big fan of Polygon. And there's just a lot of big things going on. This ZK conference brought a lot of stuff. They bought a lot of ZK companies, right? There is something being worked on I think something's worked on, in the background. Could be some kind of Ethereum tie-up with Vitalik, because Vitalik loves ZK scaling, and also who knows about Coinbase NFT? That marketplace could be on top of Polygon too. There's a lot of stuff going on for Polygon. All right, I think that's Abutala. Yep. How do you keep cash if prices keep going down? Come on, you know how to answer that, right? Most of you guys in crypto, you do have a job, right? Obviously, you could save towards that. You could get a side gig, which many people do. You can use that side gig to hold money, right, for rainy days, or you can learn to take profits on the way up, right? Obviously, if you're in red, you can't worry about that right now, but many people have been doing that. And many are still way, way, way in the green, especially ones that have been buying and holding crypto since 2020 and 2018 and 2017, right? But it's one of those things I'm going to reemphasize as we continue forward. Bitcoin will make a new high. There's no doubt about it. It will continue forward. Maybe it carries into 2022. I still cling on hope that we will see some good movement by the end of 2021. But if not, we go into 22, it will continue forward. And as we get higher and higher and higher, I'm going to tell you guys about the importance of profiting. So you have cash on the side. And I've told you guys to kind of try to achieve about, I would say, 20 to 25 to 30% cash. There's no right or wrong answer. You could be 50% cash if you want to. But, I mean, to try and kind of strive for that so that if we do have a major correction or dips, you're able to take advantage. But also, you don't want to go too heavy with your DCA. You want to sprout your buys, make sure that you have enough, right? And that's ultimately, that's how I'm trying to prepare for the top, because no one knows where top is, right? It could be at 100,000, 150, 200, 250. Maybe there is no, it could go even higher, or maybe not as high, right? Maybe it's even lower, I don't know, 90 or 80, whatever it could be, right? No one knows where it is, but the biggest thing is to make sure that you have enough cash on the side, so because if it comes down, you want to be able to take advantage. If you can't, that's where it really hurts. But if you can DCA and bring your cost average down, that's the best thing, really. So you got to put yourself in a position to be able to do so. Elon provoked a dip by saying Bitcoin may not be eco-friendly. No, that's nothing Elon says right now really affects Bitcoin anymore. I mean, he's cried wolf way too many times. So that's not. And then let's just keep in mind, people love to hate Elon, I know, but he himself holds a substantial amount of Bitcoin. SpaceX holds a substantial amount of Bitcoin, and so does Tesla. So he may be trolling here and there, but he still believes in it more than holding on dollars. Let's just put it that way. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. It is super, super, super hot in this room. So I'm going to let you guys go. Overall, guys, let's not panic, okay? Let's not resort to all doom and gloom, okay? I know that Bitcoin is going sideways. It doesn't feel good when we just went up to 50,000 plus and came right back down to 47. Yeah, I know it doesn't feel good, but overall, putting things in perspective, we are at the same point we were a week ago and the same point we were at 2 days ago. There are external factors that's making people fearful. This Fed report that's going to come out in a couple of days, right? Omicron killing its first victim in the UK, and that's still a thing, right? There's a lot of things going on. But Bitcoin is strong. It will get past this. It always has, and it will. And the fundamentals keeps getting stronger. All right? So focus on that. So thanks for tuning in. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.